See that you're interviewing her soon. She's great.
Yep, and we are live, and you all are stuck with no row today, so I have to run the show, so it'll be sketchy at the best. But we do have a new guest here, Sarah Arnew, in fact. How are you today, Sarah?
All right, thank you, Mike. How are you?
And it is evening. I guess it's dark where you're at now, right?
Yes, it's why I've ended up in this tiny office with a terrible light. It's because it gets darker like 4 o'clock here. So,
Yep. We have like 2 hours of light left, so.
oh no.
Uh, but anyway, welcome to the show. You are an esteemed author with multiple fans and a throng of followers.
I mean, I'd
This is
say 2 fans, and they're in the chat.
so welcome Ellen Holmes and welcome Saffron. Welcome to the show. Let me just real quick here. I have to open up one more thing that I should have done already that I did not. Okay. Now there we go. So I asked you before we went live, but where are you calling in from?
I'm in South London, and I'm not getting
So,
more specific than that.
fair enough. That's fine. There's a London, Kentucky, so we can pretend you're from Kentucky if you want.
I've never been to Kentucky.
uh,
I probably won't make something up. That would
uh,
probably be wildly offensive.
so Lucas is actually from Kentucky, and I was born and raised in Kentucky, but then I left. So,
I don't know what that says about Kentucky. Like,
well, depending on your point of view, it got better or worse when I left. Um, and look at that. I did not even know that, but Lucas actually lives in London, Kentucky.
oh,
So
hey,
you're
neighbor.
yeah, you're neighbors. And he will be on the show next week also. So, oh no, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow?
I think I thought it was
2 days,
tomorrow.
something
I
like I don't
was
know, something.
working.
Just thought I should probably have that window open too, so I can say when our next show is. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Um, do you have any books handy that you can show us? Your glorious, wonderful books. Mrs. LeBeers.
Yes, this
Okay.
is a gothic horror novella, and it's only about 100 pages. It's a nice short read.
Where
It'd
is
be
it
great
set
for
in?
any gothic horror fans for Christmas. Is all I'm going to say.
And who is not a gothic horror fan? Where is it set in?
It is set sort of the sort of greater London area. It sort of goes between Queen Victoria's court set in London and then the more sort of rural outskirts of London at that time.
And I'm going to nod like I know what that is.
Yes.
Okay, great. And you have a couple other books as well, correct?
Yes, so I have The Great European Escape, and that's a travel memoir set in Europe, weirdly enough, and Hypochondria, which it came out this year, and it's a serialized body horror novella, um, which weirdly again is set in London. It's almost like I write what I know.
Well, that's a plus as opposed to when I write about horses and I get people sending me hate emails that I got it wrong.
Oh,
Um, so okay, so the chat is just getting all chummy with one another. Uh, but so you have your one that just came out this year is Hypochondria, correct?
yes.
Tell us more about that. Who's the main character,
So
and what is body horror other than pictures of me taking off clothes?
I don't really know how to react to that one, Mike.
No, you just don't. I might
Yes.
be encouraged to continue. So
I'm
just
going to
just
move
let
on
it go.
very quickly. I'm going to move on very quickly. Hypochondria is around the character of Emma, who was an only child and had a very close relationship with her mother, Annette, who died very suddenly from breast cancer. And then Emma finds out that she has the gene that causes it and decides to take preventative measures, but instead becomes sort of trapped in this spiral of health anxiety and loses all trust in her body.
Wow. So not there for laughs.
No,
Um,
not really. I suppose you
but
could, but I wouldn't. It feels very harsh to laugh at that.
okay, and then tell us about the one book that I cannot pronounce, even though I should easily be able to. and you have it with you.
Oh, this one. So this one is a gothic horror, and it's sort of set. It's a sort of Victorian era. Queen Victoria features in it, and it's these two families, the Blackwoods and the Legans. Oh, people immediately want to talk to me the minute I go on a live stream. So these two families, and they sort of over the course of a year, there's this one big inciting incident, and then they just spend an entire year destroying each other.
Ooh, I like this. I like that a lot. That might be on my Christmas list. Um,
Well, I hope you
so
like it.
who is who are your characters in this? Is it one POV? Is it multiple?
It's one POV, but um, so it's from the point of view of Oliver, who I'm not going to like talk too much about, and he's sort of coming to the story after everything's happened and trying to like retell the tale of what's happened between these two characters, of these two families.
So I'm picturing gothic horror version of Romeo and Juliet, at least with two warring families. I don't know if they're going to be two teenage lovers, and hopefully not. Um,
I suppose there are elements. I wouldn't have thought of it that way, but there are elements of that story.
okay, sounds like a
That was
solid
my
base for
focus,
me.
to be fair. Like,
So Ro is not here to stop me, so I'm going to ask my first of the two silly questions.
okay,
So I want you to picture you're going down the main drag in South London,
okay.
and you're in a saddle. And this saddle can either be on a T Rex or a Griffin. Which one do you choose and why?
Oh. I think based on where I am, the logical choice would be the T-Rex.
That is the
Because
correct answer, by the way. Like 10% of people get it right. Everyone else says Griffin, so you are
I was
correct.
like,
But
Griffin is
tell
a
us
great
why.
answer, but like T-Rex,
So I my thing is I always choose T Rex because I'm pretty much a road rager. I'm shouting at people in my car. The windows are up, of course, so they can't hear me, but I feel better. And I, yell at them. And so I just think if I'm on a T Rex, I can either stomp on them or I can have it pick it up in its mouth and throw it into the second story window and get all the stupid drivers out of my way.
Oh, you
So,
see, I don't drive, but I was thinking where
but
I
this
come
is
from is quite a rough area. So like I'm pretty high up and the T-Rex, they're designed, they're a predator, right? They've got
right.
quite thick skin and stuff, so they're not going to be stopped by like other human. They're not going to be stopped by humans. I'm going to be safe. The T-Rex is going to be okay. No one's going to stop us.
No one's going to be on the street when they see you. They're just going to,
No.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You won't have to worry about, oh, I got caught up in something. No, no, you'll never get caught up in traffic because everyone's just going to, skedaddle.
Just how would you park though? Because like, where would you put your T-Rex? And then how do you get them to
Wherever
say,
you want to.
like,
Who's
how do
going
you
to
get them
tell
to
you
say,
no?
like, oh, just here's, I don't know, some like Morley's chicken for you. Like Morley's is a South London brand. Like,
Ooh. So very good. You got that correct. You did choose T Rex. Rose on Team Griffin, and he's just wrong. Um, so anyway, let me see here. We were talking a little bit about um, Broadway musicals, or I don't know what you all call them in England,
it would be West End.
West End.
We
But
have on West End and off West End.
if your book was translated into a West End musical, um, would there be any special precautions that the theater would have to take to, protect the audience or the actors or anything? Or
You see, I don't see either of them being a musical, weirdly enough. But I think there would be some sort of like dramatic play. We have quite a big theatre tradition
Mhm.
in the UK. Um, I don't know, maybe it'd be like one of those really like pretentious plays. I think, but I think I don't. I think the audience would be pretty safe from me, to be honest. I can't think of
Okay.
a reason why they wouldn't be.
Okay. Well, and welcome, Timothy. First time here, wandering into the madness. Um, so we are with Sarah New. She is an author of 3 books, 2 of them horror, and one is a travel. log,
like
yes,
a memoir. Yeah.
memoir. So yeah, if you want to hear about horror things, Sarah is here. So for your horror books, the hypochondria you said was body horror.
Yes.
What about a miss? Is that what kind of horror is this? Gothic?
It's very gothic. Yes, it's very. I tried to have it more so that it sort of lingers with you. You're not given all of the answers. Whereas hypochondria, I think, because of the sort of setup of it, you see a lot more. It's a lot more gross in aspects.
Okay.
I was going to say something else, and the train of thought left. I wasn't on it.
Yep. Yep. Welcome to the madness. Um. So did I see right that you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do
And
vlogs,
what
and they're not. I enjoy making them. I don't know if anyone watches them.
I was going to say, what do you do on your channel? The vlogs are about what?
They're just like monthly vlogs, like writing vlogs. I've done a few like um writing retreats. My last vlog that I did, I'm pretty sure was the one where I was in Sweden for university. So it's got some nice shots of remote Swedish lakes.
Well, Ellen watches them, so
Oh,
you at least have one. So do you read other people's books? Do you review books? I
I
mean, I'm
do.
sure you
I do
read
review
books.
books. I actually just reviewed Ellen Holmes's book, The Floating Castle. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite ones of the year. Um, no
So
other fantasy author comes close to you, Leanne, as you know.
so the one downside to doing all these shows is that you hear about all these great books and you're like, I'm not going to live to be 400. It's just like that's a great book. That's a great, and you're just like, ugh.
I I don't know how people with live shows do it. I don't like Saffron read so many. I'm like, where do you get the time? Like I'm just sort of out here floating around doing like my things, and I don't have enough time to read as much as I want.
Yeah.
Like
So I will tell you, after the Creature Creation show that Saffron was on, and we had all booktubers there. After it went off, they were lamenting, like, man, I'd like to do more, but I got to read the book. And they're like, look at these pages of notes I have for my next and everything. And I was like, Ro and I don't do anything. We do not prepare at all. And they're like, what? I'm like, nothing. Zero. Like, we're like, okay, who is it? Sarah? Okay, get her website. Okay, grab her books now. That's all. And then whatever time people log on, we have that many minutes of research, and then we go live. So it is always just straight from the hip. So if you do that, it's much easier. But I would like to actually read the book sometime.
yeah.
But I'm
I've so many to
terrible.
read at the minute. I'm like, oh God.
I was counting, and I finished 36 books this year, and I
It's a
DNF'd
lot.
about 40 books this year. So I
36
start.
is still a lot though.
It just doesn't feel like, 'cause I start and I stop. I'm like, no, I'm not going to, and I go jump to something else, and I'm just like, I have all these books I started. I'm like, am I ever going to go back? No. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like a lot to me, but I mean, it's more than I read last year. But still,
I
36 books. We
started
interview.
yeah. I started doing a lot of reading for literary magazines last couple of years, and so it
Mhm.
feels like even though I'm reading loads all the time, it's not books.
Yep. So
It's
we
all
interview like,
amazing stuff, so I can't talk to anyone about any of it.
oh, I'll see. I don't know if I could do that. Uh, if you want like the secret to get out, you need to tell me, and you can be like, okay, he'll keep it for like 2 days, and then he's going to blab. So you can time it. I mean, so yeah, I could not
I'll
do
bear
it.
that in mind.
Yeah, so I'm a serial leaker. Uh, but so literary magazines you're reading, is this to decide who gets in the magazine, or are you editing, or
No, I'm normally like a first reader, so I go through and I give my opinions on what should go through and what shouldn't. And I mean, the ones that I read for they're all like quite high standard, like short stories and stuff like that. So it does make it really hard because you don't want to be like, oh, I think this one should go through and I think this one should go through because you have to be really brutal about it.
right?
especially because one of them only publishes like 6 stories an issue,
Oof.
and they'll get like thousands in a submission period. So I don't know. I feel like
Yikes.
in a way it's better because it's made me be a bit more like cutthroat
Hmm.
when it comes to judging things, but then I always feel really bad for the people I've said no to, even though that's like 80% of them.
So when you are reading books, not for the yeah, and Leanne, you are right. That I don't want that kind of job. Uh,
I did it to myself as well. It's all voluntary.
oh,
Oh, I'm such a
I,
glutton for punishment. I was like, I can help out, and then I was like, no,
I was thinking, it's like, well, if it's your job, at least you're getting paid. But now, are you a
no.
volunteer?
Yeah, I'm a volunteer.
Oh my God, you're
Don't know how
crazy.
to do anything for money. I've I have no business sense whatsoever.
Ooh. So, are you ever going to write anything other than horror? I mean, you wrote your memoir, which I know is different, but any other genres that really reach out to you that you want to try?
I don't know because I mean, I did at one point. I wrote sort of like a very, very basic first draft of a fantasy duology, and I
Hmm.
really enjoyed working with that and playing around in the world and the world building of it. But fantasy's hard, fantasy's really difficult. I don't know why I struggled so much with it, and it was sort of like more horror skewed. I'd like to go
Right,
back to it at some point. I don't feel like now's the right time. I feel like there are other projects that are sort of calling me before this one is. In a way, it kind of feels like I'm not a good enough writer yet to sort of attempt a project of that size. But I
so
think eventually I'd sort of like to do sort of horror horror fantasy sort of
yeah,
stuff. I know Tim McKay does. I've read some of his stuff, and I know that his last one was a horror fantasy, and it was so good. But I was like, oh no, I'm definitely not sort of there yet. You have to remember so much more, I think, because you have to remember how your world is built as well. Whereas a lot of my stuff is
right,
sort of historical, or it's sort of like set now, if that makes sense.
right. And you can be like, he went up a block, and it's this street, and you know what it is. And if you don't, you
Yeah.
can look it up. Yeah. As opposed to fantasies, like, well, when he cast this spell 60 pages ago, what components did he need? And then you
I
have
think,
to.
yeah. And I think I kind of struggle a bit more, even with reading fantasy to a degree. I don't tend to read loads and loads of very intense fantasy because I tend to gravitate towards more sort of real world stuff. A lot of my stuff has fantastical elements in it. I've published quite a lot of short form stuff like flash fiction and short stories,
Mhm.
and there'll be fantastical elements. But I fantasy is one of these things that is just I don't know. I think because the genre itself is so expansive, even in just the indie like publishing realm, is so expansive and there's so much out there. It's quite intimidating.
Yep. Yeah. If
So
you look at Goodreads, I think there's 17 million science fiction and fantasy books on Goodreads.
yeah, it
Uh,
wouldn't surprise me.
uh,
Well,
so
sorry,
yeah.
Montague. This was my fault because I'm a dirty Brit who was not prepared to get up in the middle of the night.
So basically, she's saying she's a reasonable person, and for whatever reason, she's still on our show. I can't understand it, can't explain it, but
Oh,
we're here.
reasonable. I killed so many people in this.
So just as I think when you're talking about what you like to, you may, because I'm sure you don't have enough book recommendations. I'm going to give you one.
Okay, I gotta write this down.
Grave Covenant
Sorry?
by Grave Covenant by
Greg.
Tobias Youngblood. Yeah, the
Oh
third and
yes,
final book in
his
the
name.
trilogy just launched today. Grave Covenant by Tobias Youngblood.
Yeah, I've seen his name around.
Yeah, we just interviewed him 2 days ago. Today launched the third and final book in his trilogy. He keeps lording it over me because when I started writing my fantasy book, and then I was like, well, to tell the story, I was like, oh God, it has to be 7 books. And I'm 4 books into a 7 book series. And he's like, you just have to choose shorter. I was like, I finished my trilogy. You're in the middle of yours, and you're. I'm like, I don't like you, but it's. I used to say it was a dark Dresden file, but talking to him, he's like, it's not really urban fantasy because it's not first person, it's third person, so it's a dark fantasy noir.
But that sounds so cool, though.
But so yeah, I mean that sounds so much better. Uh, but yeah, I think just based on what you were saying, I think you might actually really like that series by him.
Probably. It's a problem. I've got such a big TBR, and like I can't. And then everyone's like, "Oh, I've got an arc for you," and I'm like, "Fantastic! I'll read it." And then I'm like, "Why have I done this?" And I've just gone back to university, so I'm reading stuff for university, and I'm like, "This was dumb. Why have I done this?"
Yeah, I very hard. I'm like, oh, I want this arc. I want this arc. I'm like, you know what? No. If I take the arc, then I'm like on the hook to read it and review it. And one, I DNF half of everything I start, and two, what am I? If I don't like it, I'm not going to give it 5 stars. And do you really want me to review it? So I'm like, you know what? I'll just buy it. I'll be one of the first people to actually buy it from you. That way, I'm free of any obligations. So
Yeah, and then if
I
you
don't.
want to review it later down the line, you can, but there's not an obligation.
Right. So yeah, I did that a couple times, and the one person I had also, I was like, look, I've read 5 chapters. This is going to be a 3 or 3.5 star rating at best. This is my problems with it. I was like, do you want me to post or not? And they said, I have all 5 star ratings. I have 17 5 star ratings. Don't ruin it. I'm like, okay, well, that tells me you have 17 friends, but okay,
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine. I'm not out to get anyone. So if I have issues, I'll be like, hey, I'll communicate personally and say, this is what I will put. Yes or no. You tell me if you want me to publish it, and I don't care. And then I just go on with my life. So
yeah. Well, sometimes I'll do a neutral review. Like there are good points, there are bad points, but this is what I thought overall. But I wouldn't necessarily give it a star rating.
hmm, I don't know. I also
I
I
don't know if
hate.
that helps or not, but
I mean, I just got a review from somebody who gave my book 2 stars, and they basically said, I don't like absurdist, humorous sci-fi, and that's what this is.
why are you reviewing it then if you don't
And,
like the genre? Like
and I'm like, okay,
I had someone I used to do a film quiz at my previous job. I used to work in cinemas and I did the film quiz and it was just about when A Mrs. Liberius came out. And I gave the book away as a joke prize. I was like, "Oh yeah, free copy of the book." And they came back and they were like, "But I don't like horror. I read it all, but I don't like horror, and I don't know why you would give me a horror book." I was like, "I told you. I told you it was horror. I said you can take it if you want, but don't feel like you have to if you don't like horror."
yeah, details. Who pays attention to those? You're giving something
Yeah,
free. Of course, they're going to take it.
yeah,
But
the general
yeah,
public, fine, like
yeah, that's like my nightmare. Would be like have to work at a call center and actually talk to people who are angry.
you'd be amazed how much you do of that in cinemas. Honestly, when, Barbenheimer came out, everyone would come and complain to me. They were like, "There's too much pink in this cinema," and it's like, "Okay, what do I do about that?" And then, I did 2 Christopher Nolan releases, and they're awful. They're absolutely awful because the sound mix is, mixed for Dolby, but most
Mhm.
cinemas in the UK are not Dolby cinemas, so the mixes are bad. But the way that he sends out the films, he has specific instructions, so you can't mess around with the audio levels, like, and then turn the volume down, but there's the dialogue up. A lot
Right.
of things you can do that a lot of the time. So people would be like, "This audio mix is terrible," and I was like, "Don't argue with me. It's Christopher Nolan's fault. Like, if I could fix it, I would." We ended up, bypassing it by putting most of our screenings, for any Christopher Nolan film would be subtitled, and people would argue with me about that because, they'd be like, "I don't understand why it's subtitled," and I was like, "Because for accessibility, and also so you can actually understand what's going on in the bloody movie, because no one ever could understand." And then they were like, "Oh, now I know." I was like, Yeah. You're
Yeah.
welcome. No.
So EL, he always peppers questions of what do you have behind you. So
Oh, this isn't my
please explain.
office. This is my
Ah,
dad's office, and I have stolen it, because my area is nowhere near clean enough to be on camera. He's really into World War II history. So that one's a Spitfire, and then that one is a Vulcan, and then he's got F1 cars, and that's
looks
one
like
of the
Apollo.
rockets, Apollo, I think,
Yep, looks
and
like it.
R2D2. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm very grateful that he lets me borrow his space, and then I'll put everything back nicely before I leave.
So just so you know, this is the only room in my house that has any order to it, and really only what's behind me is in order, and
Well,
that's
where
my.
I would normally be, my cat is in that space, and I don't want to move her. And I could move her, but I feel bad about it. So she has to just. So I was like, fine, I'll go in the office, and then you can have that room to yourself, which I feel like means that she's won, but
Well,
I don't know.
yeah,
She's
but
cute, so I get away with it, you know?
you can just tell yourself you coexist with her. You don't have to admit that she won.
Well, I try. I coexist with the other cat.
So we are coming up now. I have the second silly question for you.
Okay.
But have you read Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I have, but not for years. I was a teenager, I think.
Okay, well then, reach back that handful of years to when you were a teenager, um, and answer this. Do you remember Tom Bombadil?
Tom Bombadil is the one that I bring up all the time.
So, is the inclusion of Tom Bombadil valuable or not, or should it have been cut from the story?
You see, I like Tom Bombadil. I'm quite fond of him for some reason. Um, you know what? What always struck me about Lord of the Rings is it feels very much that, sorry, I live on a main road, and so I've got motorbikes going up and down. Lord of the Rings always struck me more not as like someone trying to write a book series, but somebody trying to form a mythology of,
Yeah,
rather than necessarily something publishable, if that makes sense. So I
right.
think in that context, Tom Bombadil makes a lot of sense because it's not necessarily this one story; it's all these interconnecting stories. You know,
Hmm.
um, I haven't read it like recently enough to talk to in depth about it, but I kind of feel like it kind of makes sense in one way. Was it possibly the best edition? If you're looking at it as a publishable product, maybe not. But if you're looking at it like a wider scope of work and we're just getting like a snapshot into part of it, then yeah. And also, I'm
Very,
not going to argue with Tolkien, you know?
a very diplomatic answer. I'll call that a tie. So you're still undefeated. Um, I can't stand Tom Bombadil, and I always like, okay, skip ahead. Okay, there. So I have very strong opinions that usually no one else agrees with. So don't worry about me. And we have Mark is in the house.
Hi,
He
Mark.
he also will be on the show in December. So
That's
all these
exciting.
future guests are scoping out what we're going to ask people, so they know, so they can be prepared. So
I
you're
wasn't
kind of the
prepared
guinea
at
pig.
all. I was like, I was like, what am I doing?
So for hypochondria, is that? I know you're a miss. That book is pretty short. It's a novella, right? Is hypochondria also short?
Yeah, I like a novella. I
I do
don't
too.
know. I like a novella because I feel like sometimes you read a book and you're like, this did not to be need to be this long.
Yes.
You need to learn to edit, and arguably, I need to learn to edit more. Is all I'm going to say. But I like a novella. I do sort of struggle with attention span sometimes. I'm a bit neurodivergent, and so I struggle with attention span, and I also struggle with writing something that's really long in length.
Hmm.
And for me, I feel very accomplished if I've managed to sit down and read something quite quickly, and a novella is very good for that. I like to take them when I go traveling a lot, because I do travel a lot, and you can't always take as many books as you need, but you can just grab a little novella, and that's,
Yeah.
that's a train ride, that's a flight. I I would always advocate for a novella. I think they're also really great to get people back into reading if they're not big readers, if they haven't read in a long time. I think they're really great like for getting younger people into reading as well, because I think sometimes like stories like Aragon and stuff are fantastic.
Hmm.
However, they can be quite intimidating if you're not a reader. I know I didn't really have this problem because I was a very much a weird, introverted, hyperlexic kid. So I read everything. But we had so many people in my school who wanted desperately to get into reading, but mainly struggled with the attention span,
Right.
or they would see these big books that everyone was like, you have to read. But then because they were so big, they were too intimidating.
Yep.
I told you I was going to just ramble about the most random
No,
stuff. I think there should be more novellas. And
I
it's
am with
pretty
you
much
on
all
that.
I write.
So I have uh, made the hill that I will die upon, in that no book needs to be over 500 pages, and if it is, you just need a better editor. And then I talk to all these people, Wheel of Time fans, who read 15 books. They're all 1,000 or more pages, and they call part of it the slog because it's long and boring. I'm like, you're the nuts people here.
I feel like
You're
if you're
crazy.
calling something the slog, that kind of should tell you that you're not enjoying it.
It's like 3.5 books in there. They're like, oh, that's the slog, where he talks about things that just don't matter. And I'm like, why? So this is the hill I die upon all the time, and I tell people I also do not like George R. R. Martin at all. I think he's terrible. So these are the hills that I repeatedly die upon because other people just won't see the wisdom. Um, so
I, I,
anyway,
I
I'm
like a
with you.
novella. I like a novella. I think there should be more novellas, and I think it's such a shame that traditional publishing doesn't like look at novellas as profitable, because I mean, How We Win the Time War was such a fantastic success, but I don't know.
So Tim Wolf is now here, and if you like novellas, his two novellas he has, The Whisper That Replaced God, and then Whisper 2, I don't know what the real
I'm
title of it is.
I'm writing notes and I'm getting quite mad at how you're just growing my TBR for me. I was
Oh
just
no,
about getting it down
these are
manageable.
short. These are short novellas. He was a finalist last year in Sphinx, the novella competition. Absolutely wonderful. Mute. He's a unreliable narrator. Oh my God, so good. Um, so you definitely should check it out. It's very short. It's like a 2 hour read. Um, so
I do
it's not
like it.
hurting your TBR too much. But then once you do that, you'll have to read a series that he has out. So
I've got a birthday coming up, so I know what I'm asking for now.
and I will warn you about E.L. Montague. He made me a character in one of his books, and in the first chapter, I am flaying someone. So if he offers to put you in his book, maybe say no. And now, I don't know if
Well,
you've
it
ever seen.
can't be
I don't know
worse
if you.
than what I do in real life. Like,
I don't know if you've seen South Park. You know how it's like they killed Kenny on every
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to be his Kenny, so now he has me in another book where I'm going to get killed. Um, so yeah, be careful whose friends you make when they're authors, because
I don't know.
you know.
I have a few friends that I think I've annoyed so much now. It wouldn't surprise me if like Matt Falcon puts me into his book just to kill me off next. Like, keep threatening to fight him.
So
At some point, it's going to come back to haunt me.
I there are plenty of books that I like, Mark, just not as many as most. Um, so but yes, I was going to go some. Oh, I know I was going to tell you, and I do this for Rogues. He always complains, but this book just came out in July for me.
Oh my God. Look at that. That
Um,
looks nice.
and also
Oh,
a novella, like
yeah.
135 pages.
You
And
know
I
what?
will tell you,
That is on my Christmas list. I'm really hoping that I've got it. My
so
mum was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "I'm going to send you a link of all these books that I want."
it's on audiobook too, if you.
Oh, I like an audiobook.
But I will tell you the one thing that I learned. Uh, Tim. Uh, and Mark, you absolutely have to get to Tim's books. They all of them are wonderful. I have not got to. I just do audio, so I've only done the audio books. But yeah. Um. Oh my God, Arrival, Tim. We had the Intimidation show. We could have had
There's
this
so
another
many
Tim.
Tims.
I know. So many Tims. Um, but anyway, I was going to tell you that this book, I go to Comic Cons, and the first one I was like, well, it's just a novella, so I guess I'm going to charge $10 for it instead of 18. And the guy is with, he's like, no, put it with the novels, sell it for 18. If you don't sell it today, then move it over. But sell it for 18. I bet you will sell them. And I went there, and like you were saying, people want shorter books. That was a selling point. I'm like, this is a 140-page book. They're like, I could read it in a couple hours. I'm like, yes, like I want it versus 800-page tomes that they're like, no, no, that's a time commitment that I don't want to make. So the shorter books, I'm with you on the novellas train. I am putting the second novella out in the series in January, and yeah, I love them. They're tighter stories all the way around.
I'm
I just
I'm hoping to
novels.
release another novella next year, and I'm kind of hoping once I've got that release sorted out, because you look at these things and then you get intimidated. But I'm hoping after that, once I've got a couple of like physical books, I can go and do like, we don't have as much of a big culture like that in the UK, but we do have like book fairs and stuff. So I do kind of want to do some of those. Because
Yep,
weirdly enough, I'm not very good at it right now, obviously, by this, but but I'm pretty good at selling in person. So mainly because I'm
yep.
just like, oh, you like the look of this, but you can have it. Like, don't hit your customers is what I've learned.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
good.
they don't want.
I keep thinking I'm just going to throw books at people, and if they hit them in the head and they, why'd you do that? I'm like, oh, well, that'll be $18. Please pay. Um, so I am going to actually let me show your books because I should have been doing this all along. But let's see, share
I can
screen.
show this one. I'm so good at marketing.
So yeah, me
No,
too.
and I made these covers myself.
They are that is cool. I like the covers.
Thank you.
You
I made them
you did not
myself.
use AI, so bless you
No,
for that. Um,
I did not use AI. I have strong feelings. I'm not getting into this.
no, no,
I
you don't.
can't
You should not.
I
Um,
can't keep threatening AI, mainly because that doesn't work.
So, and then the other book that I was able to find, Hypochondria, also. Did you make this cover also?
Yes, I made all three.
Nice.
As you can tell by the Great European Escape, that one is not very. That one's very, very basic, but I like the simplicity of it.
But I like how it has like the creases in the paper, and isn't just I put two images down and done. I mean, I'm not that artistic. I would not have done that. But
Well, I try. I had a vision, and it didn't quite live up to what I wanted. But I'm not a graphic design person. I actually like normally will make something genuinely awful on purpose because I'm like, oh, graphic design is my passion, like, oh,
so, so yeah, Leanne, she would take the book that you threw at her and read it.
oh, I would never throw a book at you. Maybe because you're in Ohio and I'm in a different continent.
Well, yeah, there's that.
I'm not that good at throwing things. I'm not very good at throwing things, to be honest. I've never actually hit someone with a book because I'm just physically pathetic. Like,
Well, the aerodynamics are also probably like veer off, and you'll hit someone you didn't mean to, and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I've been banned from places for that.
So, have you lived your whole life in South London?
Pretty much. I went to a city called Winchester for university, which is
Yep.
southwest UK, which is really nice. But otherwise, yeah, always been in South London. But it's nice. It's all right. I'm used to it now. Like
So, okay, I need to pull up. We have not asked a single silly question, believe it or not.
the T-Rex one wasn't silly.
Well, that's a standard question.
Oh, okay.
So, um, well, I don't know if I can ask. Are you familiar with Walmart?
I know of Walmart.
Okay. We're going to do something
I think
here.
our biggest equivalent would be like big Tesco. I don't think we have shops the way that you have like massive shops over there. I think our biggest one would be like big Tesco, which is like a big supermarket, which has like a little like it'll have like a little book section and like a little clothing section and then the random
Okay.
junk section, you know, like
So, the one thing I need from you then is what do you call the thing you push around at the store? We'd call it a cart,
the trolley.
a trolley. Okay, that's I couldn't remember from. So,
Uh,
okay, I want you to picture this. Who is the most chaos-inducing character that you've written?
they're not released.
What
Um,
about
ah,
Oliver?
no, Oliver's very. I would say it would probably be Lillian in.
Lillian?
Yeah, it's going to be Lillian in a Mrs. Liberis,
Okay,
who
so
is one of the matriarchs.
you and Lillian are
Yeah.
going into a big Tesco,
Oh, this is going to be awful.
and you turn to go get a trolley. And when you turn back, Lillian is not there anymore. She is gone. Where has she gone in the store, and what is she doing?
I think she's probably lecturing the security guard at the front of the store um, about not about letting the riffraff into the store.
Does that riffraff include you?
Yes, it does include me. Lillian is a very high class lady. You know, she's worked to get where she is, and she doesn't want to soil herself with being around like the tramps, for lack of a better word.
Oh, so really wish that
It's
we could have
awful.
done
Yeah,
this with Walmart because have you seen the people of Walmart videos
I've
or
seen some
pictures?
things, and I keep thinking those can't be real, right?
Oh, they are real. Trust
Oh
me, they
no!
are real. Absolutely real. Yes.
I
That.
mean, to be fair, we've got we have to like we're in a cost of living crisis in the UK. We call it the
Mhm.
Cosy Lives, and we've now had to start locking up like cheese in our supermarkets because people steal it. It's like you go and you buy a pack of like sausages or something, and they're in a plastic case. It used to just be alcohol, and now it's everything. Like
Okay. So yeah,
maybe
I,
it's good.
I wish Walmart for you just because the entertainment value of watching who goes there. Um, and yeah, just when you're like, we're going to plan an hour and a half of shopping time so we can get through the store. Yeah,
Oh God.
I wish that for you.
Yeah. Oh God.
So, so when did you start writing?
I was 6.
6.
I
Wow.
was 6. I
So you've
wrote
been doing it for like 15 years.
a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Uh,
So,
well,
so do you have any of the stories from way back when you were a child, or have they all disappeared into the ether?
you know what? I was thinking about this the other day because I did an interview recently on the BBC, and I was telling them about the first story that I wrote was called The Toilet Monsters. And it was because my primary school, all the buildings in the UK, a lot of them are quite old, and so they all make weird noises. And we had these drains, like, and these pipes that sounded horrific. And so I thought, obviously, there's monsters in the toilets, in the pipes. And I wrote a story about this. And and then I wrote a sequel because I was like, I literally like wrote it up in like a little book. You know, I like stapled the
Hmm.
pages and I drew a cover and I was distributing it throughout the year group, which was like 60 kids. I can't remember if we were on 3 class. It might 60 to 90 kids over the year. And then I wrote a sequel, and then I was told off. You can't keep scaring people. I wrote another one, and then my mum was like, "Oh no, I'm sure I've seen some of your old stuff recently." So I've been like looking around my house. I can't find it, but I'm sure I have a copy somewhere.
So I was going to say, is there anything that you could dust off and with an adult voice retell the story?
Oh,
I think
absolutely not. I don't even think it necessarily had a plot. I think it was literally just like there are monsters in the toilet.
I see. You need to write that though. See what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because seeing when I think of talking to people from England, I'm like, man, they are so lucky. They live in Harry Potter world, and they have all these old things that are neat and. So
Um,
yeah, I'm
it
thinking
is
of Moaning Myrtle now, and yeah.
I do kind of feel like being in Europe, it's very easy to get like to other countries very easily. Like for instance, I was in Brussels last year. It took me 2 hours on the train. And so I was sort because there's so much accessibility to like history and old buildings and stuff over here, I think we don't it doesn't seem as like um inspirational and stuff to a lot of people because we're surrounded by it a lot of the time. I mean, it sounds awful. I get so annoyed, right, when I'm in central London. I'm in central London quite a lot, and there's always, I hate to say it, it is always an American like who's having their like first moment in the big city, and they're like, "Wow, this is incredible," and I'm always like, "You're in the way." But I think that's kind of like we don't have that sort of like sense of wonder about it because we're so used to it here, and it's like, oh yes, I went to Brussels and I went to the Grand Place, which is a UNESCO heritage site. But I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. This reminds me of like this place, like where I was last year. It's not as like inspiring, which I think is a shame. I think there's like fantastic stuff in America. I'd love to go and see at some point.
Yeah, and Leanne, I totally am with you. I When I went to New York City for the first time, I was like, okay, just keep walking so they don't yell at you and don't like throw you down or whatever. So I'm sure Tim Wolf would probably do that if he's in Manhattan and saw me there gaping at something. Um,
You see,
but
I get
yeah,
it. Don't stop in the middle of the pavement.
oh
Take
yeah.
2 steps to the side so I can get past you, is all I want. It is actually quite funny when I'm in Leicester Square because 'cause I'll cut through Leicester Square quite a lot, and there's always someone having this moment, and I'm like, "You're right next to the Greggs," like, the Greggs is not something to be inspired by, guys.
Oh, I've seen so many. I watch a couple YouTubers who are from Britain and they react to American stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at the size of your pickup trucks." I'm like, "That's just a normal pickup truck."
I tell you, I went to Florida when I was about 20. We did well, I say Florida, we did, Orlando and Disney and stuff, so not
Mm,
really America, is it? But,
right.
we saw a school bus and we were like,
Yeah.
"They actually have those here?" I thought that was just for TV because, like, our kids, where they go on the normal bus, like, then you can't if you try and get on a bus at a certain time of day, it's filled with school kids. It's disgusting. They're everywhere. It's like, "Oh, for God's sake, I'm never gonna get anywhere." They don't have a special bus that comes and picks them up, like, not unless, that it's like a private school and they're paying a lot of money, but even so, like,
So do kids have to pay to be on the regular bus to and from
um,
school?
in London, you get, an under 16 Oyster card.
Okay.
It's free if you're under 16, or I think it's under 18 if you're in full-time education. It's been a long time since I was that age. I don't remember. I pay, and it's annoying, like it went up by like 30p last year, and I was like, "30p? 30p extra to get on the bus?" I was like, I'm old now, you know? This is what I get angry about.
So I can't let this go because you are quite possibly the most famous person we've had on the show now. Tell us about this
Oh,
BBC interview you had. I mean, you've been interviewed by real people who have consequences and matter. So
consequence the BBC has had a lot of consequences recently, yes.
yeah, I wasn't trying to touch on that, but tell us
Yeah.
about this interview.
So, I am part of the those are the consequences. So I'm part of the European Writers' Salon, which is this really fantastic organisation, and they do events all over Europe. So they did and when I was in Brussels, that was with them. They were doing the an annual like weekend long salon. The next one next year is in Madrid, which I'm hoping to get to, and they do things in like Amsterdam, Paris, Berlin, London, and one of my friends from that had a piece published on BBC Sounds, which BBC Sounds it's its own app, but it's like mostly the radio and podcasts and audiobooks and stuff like that. It's a great resource. And I was really jealous, and I was like, I want to do something like that. And I found there's this thing called BBC Upload, and you upload a piece of work, and it's not just writing; it's like audio plays and music and all sorts of things. And I was like, you know what? I'll upload a story and maybe they'll read it, maybe they won't, you know? And they say they'll keep it for, I think it's like 150 days. And if they don't contact you, they delete your data, that kind of thing. So I wasn't expecting to hear anything back. And then literally the next day, I got this text from a random unknown number being like, hey, we want to interview you on the radio. And I was like, but who are you though? Random and I went onto those, those like who's calling me websites, and I was like, who's this number? I can't find anything. And then they were like, oh, we're from BBC Upload, and I was like, this feels it's too weirdly specific to be a scam.
Yeah.
But I was still like, okay, well, prove it. They sent me the link to the show. They were like, we want to interview you, and I was like, you know what? They're not asking for like money or anything or like personal details. So I'll play along with it. And it turned out to be completely legit. And literally within like 3 days, I was on the radio, like
Oh, that's
BBC
cool.
Radio London, which was really cool. Even though
So
I nearly just didn't reply because I was like, that's dodgy.
so now you're big time.
No, no. But
So
a lot of my friends listened to it and were very nice about the fact that I sounded like a grizzly bear that's just learnt English.
well, if it makes you feel any better, when I write my books, I tell people if you were to read my first draft, you would conclude that I am not even monolingual. So,
Yeah, I have so many friends who are like bilingual, and I went to this. We did a writing session, the European Writers Salon last week, and there was this guy there, and he's writing in his sixth language, and I can barely speak English some days. I literally went to speak to my mum earlier, and I was like, "Oh," and she was like, go out the room, come back, and talk to me like a human," because I just was. And I keep
ugh.
blaming the disability, but, like, at some point, I have to accept that it isn't the disability, it's just me. Like,
And you talk to the same people, so you have like the same shortenings of words. Like I
yeah.
work for a German company, and we had a colleague who came in who we were pretty good friends, so we're going, and I just saw him. I was like, "Hey, Jeet yet?" He's like, "Jeet. What is this word, Jeet?" I'm like, "No, it's did you eat? I just smushed it all together." He's like, "How am I ever even supposed to know that?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll slow down."
Me and my sister have this, like, shorthand. We're both born in December, so we'll just text each other, like, it's coming up to it. I saw her yesterday, she was like, "I have birth pres. Do you want?" I was like, "Yes, I want. You want birth pres?" She's like, "Of course." And I know that on my birthday in a few weeks, she will literally just text me, "Hap birth," and that'll be it. And I will just text her back, "Welk." Like, "Thank welk." Like, that's it. That's all we have to do.
Yep. I totally, I'm on board with that. I do not like, especially if you have to text. Terrible at texting.
Yeah, she's going away for her birthday, which it's disgusting because she's not taking me with her.
Ugh.
And she was like, "You were away for your birthday last year." And I was like, "Yeah, but you were moving house, so you couldn't come with me." Like,
Oh, okay. So, would you like to step into the bald dome?
I think we have to, don't we?
I think we do. So you
Yeah.
have to give me a character, somebody who will maybe cause a little chaos.
Okay. Can I choose Queen Victoria?
Certainly, we have never had royalty.
She's a nightmare of a person. She was in life and she is in the book.
The only thing I know
In
is the
this one.
one movie that came out with the Indian guy who was friends with
Oh
Queen
yeah, that was
Victoria.
quite good. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's the only thing I know about her. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, huh, okay. So
I
I'm going to
felt
roll a bunch
so
of dice.
fixated on her for so long, but specifically because there was haemophilia in her family and it decimated the European royal families. And I was hyper fixated on this for so long. And I remember my sister and I went to Lisbon, and she had been at university, so I hadn't seen her for a while. And we went for a walk in the evening. We got there, and she was like, "There's something wrong with you because we've just spent an hour walking around Lisbon and you've just spoken about haemophilia the entire time."
Okay. So I'm going to roll a bunch of dice, and then I will set the scenario up.
Okay.
We've never had royalty before, so this should be interesting. So Queen Victoria, oh, this is going to be so much fun. She has been transported. She has been transported to a fairy glade. So let me give you the
Yeah, that's not
description.
what you want.
Um, hold on here. Let me just do this a bit. There we go. The fairy glade. Moonlight bathes the glade in a soft glow where tiny winged creatures flit between oversized mushrooms and crystalline flowers. A soft, haunting melody plays from nowhere, and the air smells of honey and wild lavender. Hidden in the hollow of an ancient oak, silver coins and enchanted rings glimmer faintly while being guarded by iridescent foxes which vanish at the slightest movement.
So
This,
the foxes disappear, or the coins and everything disappear?
the foxes disappear,
Okay.
so they're not much good as guards. But anyway, this is where she's been transported now. Now, what is your favorite color?
Green.
Green. So Queen Victoria gets a flask filled with an carbonated green liquid with a stopper on it, and they're like, "I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I guarantee this is 100% effective, but the labels come off. I don't know what it does. But take this on your adventure to the fairy glade." So
Okay.
she has that. Now she gets. This is going to be so odd. Okay, so here's a scenario. She can choose either to have a common item with her or a weapon. If she chooses a common item, she will have an encounter with a common animal. If she chooses a weapon, she will have an encounter with a fantasy creature. Which would she choose?
I think I think she thinks she's indestructible, so I think she would take the common item.
Okay, so the common item is, give me a second here. She has a wooden mallet. So
Oh
now I'm
yeah, that
picturing
completely tracks for her actually.
Queen Victoria is in the fairy glade with a bubbly green liquid in a flask and a wooden mallet. I like this visual already. Somebody needs to write this story. Um, so since she did that, she will face a common animal, which is an agitated riderless warhorse in armor. So she's trouncing around the fairy glade looking for these foxes that keep disappearing. She doesn't have that. Does she have interest in the coins in the ancient oak?
Of course she does. Like she's
She,
a British monarch in the age of empire. Like of course she
okay,
does.
so she's using the mallet to break whatever she has to, so she can get in there and get these silver
Yeah.
coins.
She's
And she,
she thinks she's been made monarch divinely by God. She sees that as hers. She's going for it. Like
so she is like scooping out these things. She's very upset she doesn't have someone to do this for her.
yes, yeah.
Um, and then she hears a neigh, and she looks up, and lo and behold, there is the warhorse filled with armor, without a rider in sight, in the fairy glade. What does she do? I
So
will warn you, if you start like saying, "Well, she might try this. Is it successful?" I will roll. I am terrible at this. It will turn out poorly. So if you tell the story, you can tell the story. If you ask my input, everything will go wrong
okay.
because that's how I roll. Literally, when I roll the dice. But anyway, what does she do now that she hears the horse? It's 20 feet behind her. She turns, looks around. There's the horse just staring at her.
She's just staring at her. It hasn't approached her yet.
Correct.
Okay. I think that as she considers herself to be divinely protected by God, she would assume that the horse is here for her to save her feet. So she would want to try and mount the horse so she doesn't have to walk. Hi, Tim. I was talking about you earlier. All complimentary fins.
I was talking about you, but they were not complimentary. Actually, that's not true. I wasn't talking about you at all. I don't know which is worse. Anyway, so does she walk towards the horse, or does she summon the horse to her? Because she's a queen.
She is, but I feel like at this point she's quite upset by the entire situation and the fact that no one's catering to her. So she's sort of storming over to the horse
Okay.
quite angrily.
Okay. So you can have me play the part of the horse, or you can just tell this whole story, whichever you'd like.
I
She's
think you should
she's
be the
walking
horse.
towards the horse.
I think it's better if I don't know what's coming up.
Okay, so the horse looks up a little bit and then just goes back and looks for something to eat, completely
Oh, she's angry.
undeterred by the queen.
She's angry. How dare this horse not pay attention? She's the Empress of India. Like, she's furious. She's furious. She decides that the horse is going to do what she wants, and she's going to try and climb on the horse to ride it.
Ooh, queen gets on the horse all by herself. She doesn't have people to help her. Wow.
Well, they're not here, are they?
Right, I know. So okay.
She's
So
going to
she
have to do it herself.
does she grab the rein? And this is terrible because I know nothing about horses.
No,
If
neither
Lucas
do
is
I.
here, he can. If Lucas was here, he could still here. He could, educate us.
Yeah.
He grew up on a horse farm, but from the other London. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So
I imagine she probably is going to grab the reins and then try and because she was quite short as well, she's going to try and sort of jump up onto swing her leg over to pull herself up. I don't know why I tried to act it out sitting down.
okay, well let me roll here. A 14. We're going to say that the horse just kind of looks at her and whatever. I'm looking for something to eat. So the horse does not in any way try and retaliate. And now does the queen actually get her foot in the stirrup and able to pull herself up? 7. That would be a no. Foot
I
slips
was
out.
hoping
She
she would fall.
falls. She falls on her back.
Well, at this point now she's furious. She's furious. She's
What?
like,
What are you doing? Sorry, my phone just started repeating this and like
I
AI's
was
on
like,
my.
oh God, a ghost. What was I
Okay,
saying?
so now
Furious.
she
She's
is
falling off.
on her back.
Oh, it was nice to see you, El. Bye.
So
She's
yeah,
fallen. She's furious. She's given up on the horse. She's given up. The horse should bend to her will, and it hasn't. So why would she bother anymore? And she storms away. Maybe she goes
back
back and tries to
back to
steal.
the coins
Yeah, back to the coins.
and, and just leaves the horse as is.
Yeah,
And
well,
let
I
me.
feel like the horse is going to come back in play at some point.
Horse gets a 4, so he is completely unconcerned and
Yeah,
is
that
just
tracks for this horse.
continuing to eat.
I think what she's likely going to do is she's probably going to now try and steal the coins while deciding whether to bother with the horse again or
So
just to take the armor off the horse because it's armored, isn't it?
yes.
Can she do
So
that?
she has a mallet and she has a potion, a green
No,
fizzy potion.
I don't want to. I don't want her to hurt the horse though,
Uh,
because she would. She
so
would. I can't do that.
just so you know, the potion is 100% effective, whether she uses it on herself or the horse. Either way, 100% it will
But does
work.
that not count as animal abuse if she feeds a random green potion to a horse?
Well, it depends on what the potion does.
But we don't know. You know what? I think what she would do, I think she would give a tiny bit of the potion to the horse. Do I have to give the whole potion?
You can do half.
Can I give the horse half of the potion?
Sure.
Because she's not going to drink it herself. She has people to do that for her, like, to
All
test
right.
everything in case it's
So
poison.
this is what she's doing basically. She's having him be
She's
the
gonna have
potion
yeah,
tester.
yeah, I feel so bad about this.
Okay,
Oh my
so the potion is the Featherfoot potion. We'll just go with that. Elixir. I can't say that word for some reason.
elixir?
Elixir. I'm missing a syllable. That's what Elixir of Featherfoot. So now the horse can walk on water, and if they should happen to fall, it'll soften the fall from any height and won't do any damage to him. So now
I'm
Twinkle
really
Toes,
glad
the
it wasn't a
warhorse.
poison for the horse, because I would have felt like a terrible person, and I probably would have just, like, disappeared
So
from the internet altogether.
so now the horse is just light in step. Featherfoot's here, just prancing around. Walks on water because it's fun. It's not just for the leader of religions anymore. Um, and so now she's watching the horse as it goes out on the lake and starts drinking from said lake while standing on top of the water.
Okay. I think initially she forgets that she hasn't drunk the rest of the potion. She storms in after the horse, realizes that she cannot walk on water, immediately, like, comes out and is furious again. Does she go back after the horse? She's got to go back after the horse, surely, because otherwise, what are we doing?
Does she take the rest of the potion for herself now,
I
seeing
think
what
she
it did to
has
the
to.
horse?
I think she
Okay.
has to. She thinks she's above all other humans, right? Because she's
Hmm.
divine right
Right.
from God. So I think she takes the rest of the potion and then decides that she's going to go back after the horse.
Okay.
I don't
So
know where I'm going with this though.
she walks on the water, as is her divine right.
Yeah, well,
Um,
she's more like stomping across the water. She's not pleased.
and she gets to the horse. Does she grab the reins and try to mount it again?
She tries to get back on the horse.
Ooh, a 4.
She falls again.
So she falls, and since a potion is there, she falls on her back, but it doesn't do any damage because it's feather light. So she just falls, and now she's laying on the lake. The horse is like, I've drank my fill, so he's walking back towards the land, eat some grass.
So at this point, she's really, really upset. And I think she storms back over to the horse and she gives him like a little tap on the head with the mallet to try and provoke any reaction. The horse's head sort of is already down. She hits it. It looks up at her. It's got a helmet on, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it has a plate.
Maybe
Yeah.
she's trying to pull the helmet off of the horse because she's decided that now she should have the armor because she should have all the riches of the glade.
Um, she is not successful getting the helmet off.
I could tell you she wouldn't be successful. I could have.
Well,
She's also the most placid horse I've ever heard of.
it's a warhorse. He doesn't care what this little dinky woman is trying to do.
This like 6 foot, this 4 foot woman, like, desperately
Yeah,
trying
yeah, the 6 foot tall horse. Yeah. So
to mess her
he's
up.
on the tree. He just kind of moves her out of the way and starts munching on grass again.
I think we have to give up on the horse. We're not getting anywhere with the horse. We're going to be here all night trying to figure out what's going on with this horse.
So is she going to just let the horse go do its thing?
I think she has to. I think she
Okay.
storms back to the tree and then tries to steal all of the coins and the jewelry that's in the glade.
Acquire, not steal. Acquire.
Yeah, well, it
It's
won't be
hers by
returned.
divine right. So
Yes, obviously, obviously. And in 200 years, we'll have an argument with a museum about whether it should be returned to the glade.
Okay, well, I mean, the ball dome is just for the encounter, and that I think the encounter is over. So no
It
one
was
was
so
hurt.
yes, I'm so glad that no descendants of Queen Victoria will ever see this and how I made her so physically pathetic.
Oh, so
That
before we
was not
go,
gonna go anywhere, was it? The
we
dice did not want me to have a good solution.
oh, if I'm rolling, you will never get anywhere with the dice. So before we go, once again, the Mrs. Liberis is by Sarah, And give me a second here, and I will pull up the other one.
I don't have a copy of Hypochondria. It's all online for free. Hypochondria. Mrs. Liberius is on Amazon. Hypochondria is on my website, available for free.
So, and it's been scrolling at the bottom. If you haven't seen it, then okay. But sarahrnew.wordpress.com. You can go there and get Hypochondria for free and your memoir of your travels in Europe.
Yeah, that's on there for free as well.
And what
This
is
is
that
why I'm not
called?
making any money.
And what is the your memoir called?
The Great European Escape.
The Great European Escape. And just I should ask at least one question about that. Where did you go in the Great European Escape?
Oh, I went to Iceland, Sweden, Italy, France, Germany. Oh, where else did I go? Prague, in Czechia.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I
Okay.
was, I was around Europe. I was in like a different place every every few days, and it's to do with like disability, finding out you're disabled, and sort of learning to adapt with disability, and also it's it's got tips for if you're disabled, how to travel effectively, and also some recommendations of places to go and to try and to stay.
Did you have a favorite place or country that you went to in this trip?
Iceland. Iceland
Iceland?
is beautiful. I would
Yep,
highly recommend it. It's so expensive though.
it is. I took my
It's
nephew
worth it.
there 10 years ago, but yeah, loved Iceland. We were there during the midnight sun, so literally the
Oh,
sun set
yeah,
like at
nice.
1:30 a.m. and came up at 4:30 a.m.
That's so nice. I was there. I was March, so oh, I was there in March, so it was sort of more. It was more like dark,
Yep.
and I got to catch the Northern Lights on my last night there, which was really a really
Oh,
lovely
cool.
experience.
That's I was glad that we did, the midnight sun because basically you went until you couldn't go anymore, then you just collapsed and
Yes.
slept. Um, but I did not get to see the northern lights, and I really wish could have done that too. So
Well, there's solar storms going on all the time, so hopefully maybe we got them down in South London like last year,
yep.
which was
Hopefully, yeah.
bizarre.
It's
So
yeah,
hopefully,
yeah, the solar maximum. So this is the time where it's a like 11-year cycle. So this is the time for if it's going to reach that far south, it's going to be now. So oh well. Anyway, that yeah, very very big fan of Iceland. I have never actually been to England, which I desperately need to do.
there are good parts here. I mean, it's one of those places everyone always kind of like hates on the UK, but like it is quite a beautiful country. There's a lot of really nice places here. Not it's not just London. Like London's great. I think it's one of the best cities in the world. Um, but we also have quite a lot of beautiful countrysides to explore here as well.
So when I go, because I'm me, I want to go to all the places that I picked, like from my book that my
Yeah,
Drami goes to.
yeah,
So I want to go to and just
yeah.
random places that
The, the, national park.
Uh, so basically, the whole reason I wrote the book is I saw an article that said England has more random stuff, for lack of a better term, from the Stone Age and Iron Age and
Yeah,
Bronze Age than all of mainland Europe. And I'm like, no, England's not that big. So I pulled up a map that like had it, and I'm like, oh my god, it does. And
yeah.
so then I start looking at like what they are, and I start because I'm a chemist by trade, so I got my spreadsheet out and I started like categorizing what do they fall into. Oh, okay, this is a barrow mound. Okay, this is a you know a henge, and I start doing that, and I was like, there's a story here somewhere. So he goes to all these random bits of things that are all over the countryside. Um,
We're finding stuff all the time as well. Like we
yeah.
like last year, a part of London shut down because there was an unexploded World War II bomb that no one knew was there for a long time. And like one time, we found one of our monarchs buried in a
Oh,
car park.
and yep, I saw that.
Yeah.
Richard the Third or something. I forget.
Yes, it wasn't one of the recent ones. It wasn't
The one
Charles.
who said "my kingdom for a horse" or whatever, something
Something like
from
that.
one of
Yeah,
the
I think that
Shakespeare
was him.
plays.
I think that was him. I think he's the one who the hunchback that
Yeah.
everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I should know them better. All I know is the horrible history song. That's all you learn here. Like Henry
And
VIII and his six wives. That's all you get taught.
uh, and and when did William the Conqueror come over to England?
1066.
No. I saw a skit where like in history you will learn 1066
Yes. Yeah.
in England. So and maybe the Magna Carta.
No, you don't. I mean, maybe in different. Maybe it's different now. When I was in school, you learn World War Two, the Tudors. That was pretty much it. Oh, and I did like Victorian workhouses like 3 times for some reason because I was in advanced history. Like, so you got to learn about the work. So we all know about cholera, but nothing useful. And I think this is. I'm going to get on my soapbox again. I think this is part of the issue that we're having in the UK at the minute. With like learning our history because we're not taught our history. It might be different now. I haven't been in education for a long time, but you're not really given an overview. You're not taught anything about colonialism or anything like
Right.
that. And I think that we don't own our history, and so that's where a lot of this rhetoric is coming from because we don't
Yep.
understand our history to learn from it.
Yep.
You know, I told you I'd get on my soapbox at some point.
So, well, Sarah, you were worried about being nervous coming on, but we've gone what over 75 minutes now.
I know, and I
So,
haven't even rambled too much.
so, and Queen Victoria did not hurt the warhorse.
No, no, I was
And
quite worried.
and if you need to, oh,
I was not taught anything about that. All I've learned is from what I've found out myself because I'm really into history. So I've been like trying to give myself an overview of British history, but as you can imagine, it's quite expansive
yeah,
and it's quite overwhelming to try and learn all by yourself. So, but I no, I do need to be better at it. It's something I'm working on, you know.
if it makes you feel any better, in the U.S. we talked a lot about the Revolutionary War and the Civil War and World War II, and those are like the only three time periods that mattered. And there was a World War One between, but we're not worried about. Let's go straight to World War II.
Yeah,
And then
everything's World
history
War Two.
stopped after the 40s because we didn't want to talk about Vietnam or Korea or anything like that. So
I think we've gotten to a point now in UK history where like political history is just like the last 10 years itself. It is like we had one prime minister who got beaten out of office by a lettuce. Like we're actually at a point where if you wrote this in a book, people would be like, "You've jumped the shark. That's ridiculous."
so yeah, Monty Python teaches English history. That's all you need to know.
I mean, you're not too far off.
So okay, well, Sarah, thank you for spending this time with us. Have a
Thank
good
you for
evening.
having me.
And when you have a new book, let us know, and we will shout to the heavens that you have a new book out. But please, please, please put it on Amazon and sell it. Don't give it away for free.
Okay.
That's my business tip for you.
I might make some money that way. You never know.
Well, never enough. We know that because we're indie authors. But still,
Honestly, at this point, something would be would be good. I
at least pay for bus fare. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. It's gone up.
just dirty peas.
They're
Uh,
they're they're freezing it next year, so
okay, well, thank you. The only thing we have left to do is to wave awkwardly because it takes like 5 seconds for YouTube to actually end the video. So
don't worry, I'm great at being